Welcome here to the first ACL Canada Virtual Tournament hosted by KW Cornhole, presented by Oktane Cornhole. My name is Doug Coombs. You may know me better as Corn Doug. I am here with the ACL Canada Conference Director, Matt Plow. Matt, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Not too bad. So, virtual tournament number one, we had our challenges right out of the gate. You could kind of say with game number one.
Yeah, there was in the very first round we had two players both throw 66 points, and they tied all the way down to the fifth tiebreaker, so they had to throw again.
Yeah, so it's lucky for us they try us out right from the start. But other than that, it was actually a really great tournament.
Yeah, it was great right up until like the last week when we went into lockdown in Ontario, and a lot of players just kind of bowed out because they had no place to play anymore.
Well, and at the start, I think the best thing about it for me was it was the first time we've been able to have from the Cornhole Newfoundland guys to the guys here in Ontario be able to play together at once.
Yeah, it was cool to see players like Dion throw a 95 in the very first round, which really put the Newfoundland Cornhole players on notice.
Well, and I know from talking to him and talking to Sean, I think that was only like his third deck round ever throwing. So, he kind of set that bar high for himself.
Yeah, that's crazy. I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, well, because in talking with them, they only kind of found out about deck rounds around Christmas, and then we started right up. So, but for other names, what other names did you see kind of pop up here?
Basically all the Newfie guys were throwing well. A bunch of the guys from the KW region were throwing well. We had Scott, who we're going to see soon here, was the number one qualifier. A couple from Toronto and Barrie, and yeah, there's a bunch of surprise games.
Well, exactly, and you're going to see Scott Sullivan here in the final up against Brandon Brown, I think this is his first ACL kind of competition.
He played in the International Invitational, but that was his first event. He's only been playing for maybe 3 months now, so he's doing really good if he's in the finals today.
Yeah, well, I think these guys are ready to go, so maybe we should get right into it.
Yeah, so we got Brandon throwing his deck around here. Brandon went 3-1 in round robin, getting his only loss to Steve Pohl. He qualified 6th with a 71.25 average. Scott here, throwing at the Oktane Garage, was our number one qualifier with a 4-0 record. He threw 84.5 average score.
Yeah, and for people that may probably the name Scott Sullivan is kind of familiar because he was the runner-up in the first ACL virtual tournament, losing to Justin Stranger in the final, but then also he was actually on ESPN as well.
Yeah, he represented KW Cornhole with Jamie Cowan at the ACL International Invitational, the very first one on ESPN.
Yeah, easy for you to say. Like I always say on my show, thanks Todd and the ACL for making those names very, very short for us. But looks like Scott's ready to throw his last last down and back bag, and looks like Brandon will be starting us off here.
Yeah, this is the first round here.
Great start for Brandon.
It's always good to get that first bag in the hole.
Yeah, and you'll be able to see the tempo of these two players. Brandon's got the throw, the step back, and that bag's almost just stopped moving when he throws that next bag.
Yeah, and then Scott here is more methodical and really thinks about every throw and makes sure he's comfortable with it, except the first bag off the board isn't a good one.
There.
That being said, first bag off the board, I threw a 101 with my very first bag off the board, but it was the only one I missed.
Yeah, so Scott picks up a 7 there, so Brandon in the lead with an 8-7. So Brandon seems like I said, with his pace, he's a really rhythm kind of thrower.
Yeah, it seems to be working well for him. Throwing a 12 in the second round.
It's our first 12.
You can see right there Scott's methodical attitude to his throw. Just takes his time, makes sure he's nice and comfortable with his stance and everything, and then a nice smooth motion.
Well, and you can see when his bags hit the board, they're almost hitting the same spot almost every time. He just puts one just off the side there for a 10. So Brandon's got a 3-point lead here. It's going again. Looks like he's on another good run here.
It's another 4-bagger.
Another 12.
Scott's got some work to do now. He's got to try and keep up with Brandon.
And Scott is no stranger to any kind of noise or any kind of interference, because I don't know if anyone remembers watching him in the first ACL tournament. I think he throws a 12 there, but
It's a double 4-bagger.
his neighbors in that first ACL virtual they decided to cut the grass, cut down trees, do everything as soon as he went to throw his games.
Yeah, he's got a little bit better of a playing environment this time.
And Brandon throws a great 10 there, so he's up 42-29 with Scott throwing his end in the fourth.
Scott leaves a little bit of a blocker for himself.
Oh, tough one to miss.
When you put a little bit extra power on a throw, it's easy to shank it right or left.
Well, now both these guys are throwing the Oktane kinetic bags.
Yeah, they've both been throwing them pretty much exclusively through this whole tournament.
So Brandon opens lead to 6 points here now. Oh, tough one there. Knee bend to get it in. That knee bend always helps in getting that last bag in.
It seems to anyway. 50 points through 5 ends. It's on pace for 100.
Scott puts 2 in.
Scott needs a big round here to keep the gap small.
Oh, tough one there.
It's a 10 to close the gap a little bit.
Down to 4. Oh, tough one there going off the back. Which really haven't seen that much from Brandon going off the back at all.
Mm-hmm. To salvage a 9 after the first bag off the back it's actually a good recovery.
Yeah. Scott there now. Again, you see just both these guys, their bags are just kind of on a line. They're going right down that middle tape, and it's a lot easier that way putting it in the hole.
Yeah, it's hard to get it in the hole if you're not down the middle.
I know that from experience. Big 12 from Scott.
Oh, and he gets a little frisky with Dolores back there.
Brandon, another great bag. You can tell he really works the bag where he slides that right up. Another 10 for him.
It's another good round. He has a chance to break 100 here.
You can tell that both of these guys are more the technical throwers, you can say. They're not, you haven't really seen an airmail go in at all here. Everyone's just been kind of sliding it up.
Yeah, it's kind of not the game here. Scott's in a tough situation here with 3 bags to the right of the hole.
He salvaged, he drags one in.
It's a lucky drag.
So he puts it down to 3 points now, 69-66. He keep this up with another 9. And that knee bend does work one more time.
Now's the point of the game where you don't want to leave any bags off the board. Every point might count.
Yeah, and now you see Scott there. Tough one there, just kind of hanging on the back.
Luckily, these JC Cornhole boards don't bounce too much, so that should be able to hang on.
Just because look, that is the slick side, is it not? That's kind of just hanging on there.
It's the slower side. They're both pretty slick. Cuts the lead to 2.
Brandon's got to come up with a big one here. Oh, off the back. Tough one there. Just off the side. Can he drag that in?
What a shot.
Again, that knee bend and the Adam Hisner fist pump to boot.
Scott needs some big rounds here to catch up.
Got down by 11 here. Comes in. Needs this one here for a 12. And he does. He takes the lead for the first time in the game, 88-87.
It's no better time to get the lead than at the end. Brandon needs a big round here to keep the pressure on.
With the run up, so he gets an 8 in his last one. So Scott's got a 90. Sorry, Brandon's got a 95.
So Scott needs a 7 to tie or an 8 to win. Not
a tough bag.
Not a good first bag to try for the win.
And And they're in with that bag. Really making things difficult for him now.
He needs to go in to win. And he gets it
Able
with the
to drag
drag.
it. So that takes a 3-point win for Scott Sullivan, 98-95. Great game back and forth. I think Brandon really had a great job there keeping up. Well, even not really keeping up, but just kind of putting that pressure on that whole game.
Yeah, it was a great game. It's hard to believe that Scott was behind that entire game, right up until round 9.
Well, and that is the thing with Scott. He's that real, like we said during the broadcast, just that methodical player. He kind of doesn't let anything really faze him. He just stays focused.
Yeah, he's pretty consistent that whole game. I think he threw almost the same score in the first half as he did in the second half.
Which is kind of what you want to do. If you can get that high number at the start, you want to just keep continuing that on to the second half.
Yeah, great game by both players.
Yeah, so that does it for ACL Canada Virtual number 1. I think we may see some more in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see where lockdowns take us. Right now it's winter and snowing, and a lot of players have no place to play right now, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so maybe it might have to be another, 3-4 months since we're here in Canada where we can actually get back outside playing.
Yeah, probably at least.
Okay, so that's it for ACL Canada Virtual number 1, hosted by KW Cornhole, presented by Oktane Cornhole. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you on the next broadcast.